Hey, nah, you thought this was gonna be a fun video? Nah. Put your hands up, hey everybody. What's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, we are here to talk about Masahiro Sakurai, the guy, the GOAT, the homie. Y'all know who he is. You all know what it is. And I thought it would be a fun topic if we talk about what I think Sakurai is going to do next. You know, we've been separated enough since the end of the Smash DLC. What was it now? Sora came out in October. So it's been about, what, 6 months, 5-6 months now. So I figured, you know, now obviously, we're still a long ways from seeing whatever Sakurai is doing next, but I thought it would just be a fun topic to discuss, you know, what I think he could do next. But before we get into it, of course, everybody, y'all know the drill, y'all know the wave. All right, subscribe to your boy here, leave your comments when I ask you to. Thank you for always leaving them below. I always check them out, respond to a lot of them and all that stuff. You guys fucking love writing long ass paragraphs. I like that. I appreciate it. It means you're dedicated, you're out there, you're busting down, you're in the streets, you're fighting for your life. I appreciate it. So thank you for all the support and all that stuff. And like the video, you all know the drill. Just like the video. Do it right now. 3, 2, 1. You did it. Okay, I believe in you. All right, so let's get into this topic, right? Because with Sakurai, right, you know, obviously, let's get the easy question out of the way, right? Is Sakurai gonna make the next Smash Bros? My answer is yes. I think if Smash is going to be rebooted, you know, or done completely differently, I feel like he is going to want to be at the helm of that first attempt of reattempting to reevaluate and understand the franchise. In fact, one of the last interviews he did for Smash Ultimate was him saying, hey, we were looking for a different director, but it didn't seem like it was going well. And I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Like, what sane person would want to be like, hey buddy, how about after Ultimate, you try to top this? Good luck, bye. You know what I mean? Like, no director could do that, you know what I mean? And obviously Sakurai and the dev team at Sora Limited, which is the name of the studio, is really talented. I mean, they could probably do whatever they want, but it's just a matter of, you know, they have their expertise and they work well with their director at the helm, right? So that's a big deal, that I genuinely think Sakurai is going to work on the next Smash Bros game, whenever that is. I think we're a long ways from that. If anything, I feel like Smash Ultimate is going to be the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe of next gen, where I think like it's going to, they're gonna launch whatever Switch 2 or Switch Pro or whatever with like Smash Ultimate definitive edition or whatever. I guess I don't know what you call it, where it would be bundled with all the DLC. Maybe they would throw in like some kind of bonus character or some stages or something. But I do think for a very long time, this is going to be the Smash Bros that's at the front of the scene, which is fine. You know, that's okay. Like, this game is fantastic. I love playing it. Maybe if they work on the online a little bit, that would be like a big moment for the game. But for the most part, I think we're going to be stuck to this Smash for a long time, which I'm totally, like I said, totally happy about it. I still adore Smash Ultimate. Whenever I go back to it, I have a good time. So just keep that train rolling. And hey, again, like I said, if they ever want to just add a few more characters in there on the next gen port of it, or whatever they want to do with Switch Pro, Switch 2, whatever the fuck, they can go ahead and do that. But I don't want to get into what Smash 6 is going to be and all that stuff, because again, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But I figure what else we could do is we could talk about what Sakurai's done before and see if he wants to go back to it. Now, a big one. This is one that I've thought about a lot, right? Kirby. So Sakurai, a lot of people, you know, probably a lot of people by this day don't know this. Sakurai created Kirby, right? And a lot of people do know, but you know, as more time goes on, probably less people know. Sakurai made Kirby. He worked on Kirby's Adventure. He worked on Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. He worked on Superstar, Pinball. And he has credits in Epic Yarn, which is interesting. He worked on the originals, and he worked on Air Ride, most notably. Well, that was the last one he did. I think Air Ride was the last one he did. He did a few others. But yeah, so he was the creator of Kirby. He worked on a lot of them. And it's funny how he stopped working on Kirby because he didn't want to burn out from the series. And then obviously he went to like 5 Smash games. But yeah, no, I feel like now, I feel like it would be a crazy moment if we had Sakurai come back to work on a Kirby game. Now, granted, Kirby's in an awesome spot right now. We're getting what's called Forgotten Land, which looks incredible. It comes out in 2 weeks, by the way. Holy shit, I'm so excited for that game. We're getting that in 2 weeks. But yeah, like, I feel like Sakurai taking on a Kirby project would be really cool, because I don't know, I feel like it would be a nice way for him to, you know, go back to something where he's familiar with, but because it's been so long since he's been separated from it, I feel like he could bring a lot of of new creative ideas to the table. Most notably, I feel like he would be right at home making a Kirby Air Ride 2. I feel like him doing an Air Ride 2, because you see so much of Smash Bros DNA in Kirby Air Ride when you see how the menus are, when you see how what's called City Trial is, and that's literally Smash Run from the 3DS mode. You know, a lot of those stuff translate in there. And the very typical Sakurai thing, which is, you know, simple to play but fun to master. And I feel like some kind of Kirby's Air Ride 2 by Sakurai would be cool. And I don't know if it would just be maybe like, I've always said, like, what if Air Ride 2 was like, you know, a Switch online game where it is like, you know, you do City Trial online, specifically just that mode. It's not necessarily the races, even though that would be cool to have the racetracks in there and have even more of them. But I feel like either way, City Trial would be the highlight. But yeah, I think Sakurai going back to a Kirby game would just be awesome. Like, that would be such a cool announcement of like, you know, we saw him back in presentation. He was like, as a lot of you know, I worked on the Kirby franchise a long time ago, and I'm back to work on this spin-off or this thing from the franchise. But again, I feel like it's not necessarily likely, just because right now I feel like HAL Labs knows what they're doing. It feels like it's their baby now, their franchise, and they've taken care of it. And you know, we're getting Forgotten Land that looks like it might be the best one in the series, so we'll see. But it is something I thought I'd throw out there and discuss. Now, obviously, the big one, right? The 3DS game we all love and cherish, Kid Icarus Uprising. Kid Icarus Uprising, one of the most surprising 3DS games out there. And I think genuinely, one of the best things Sakurai's ever done. I mean, Kid Icarus Uprising, it's incredible. I think it's like still my favorite like story gameplay Nintendo game, because the game just has this thing where like you are going through these levels, right? You have first the air sections which are like these set pieces, and they look gorgeous on 3DS, right? And then you have the land areas where you can choose all these different weapons you can use. You can, you know, there's dialogue content. I mean, you have Pid, Medusa, what's called Palutena, Viridi, all these characters constantly bantering back and forth, and I loved that. Like, to me, like, I cherished every new line of dialogue you got when you were playing the campaign of that game. And I really think that world deserves to be discovered like at least one more time. You know, whether it was a sequel or whether it was a port of Kid Icarus Uprising, I just think like what he did to reboot that franchise and make Pit so lovable, as well as, you know, Palutena and Dark Pit and all these other characters, and the villains too. Hades, one of the best Nintendo villains I think ever. You know, just the way he mastercrafted like a lot of these characters and wrote them so fun, and even just the core gameplay. Like, dude, if I ever saw Kid Icarus just HD on Switch, I would like lose my way. If it was a sequel, I would lose it. And I feel like there is a solid chance, you know, there's less of a chance of Kid Icarus Uprising being HD, but there's a chance he works on a sequel. I think we know he really loves those characters, you know, from the dialogue they put in Smash, you know, from the big Palutena. I think there's like 3 Kid Icarus stages in the game. There's a lot of that music. There's a lot of that DMA, assist stories. You know, it's very clear when Sakurai really loves something and how much he puts in Smash with it. So I feel like Kid Icarus, man, to me is that's the star of the show. Like, that's the thing I want him to work on so badly. Like, if I could just, honestly, by this point, if I could have Sakurai just have Kid Icarus be like a sub franchise that he always works on, like for the next 2-3, you know, what's it called, games, I would be incredibly overjoyed about that, because that game, just one of my favorite games ever, from gameplay to the online, was so good at online multiplayer. God, everything about Kid Icarus Uprising just stands out so much, man. I just want that to return, and I genuinely think that is what's gonna be next, but we'll see about that. I'm trying to look here. He hasn't really worked on other stuff besides, I mean, he worked on Meteos, which is like a puzzle game back in the day, and Kirby Pinball Land. So in that sense, it's not too much, but right, here's the thing. The thing about Sakurai is he's a wild card. Like, what if Sakurai worked on a new IP? That could be something that was crazy too, right? If Sakurai just took a a franchise that's well, no, that's a different question. A new IP would be really cool. Imagine getting something like Splatoon from Sakurai, you know, where it is just something where he invents the characters, you know, he creates that world, he creates the gameplay from scratch. I feel like it would be a lot of work, but maybe something he'd want to tackle. You know, he said this in interviews and stuff. He's only realistically got a few games left in him. I mean, let's be realistic. I feel like we will live to see, like, obviously he's gonna live longer. I mean, what I mean is, like, as an employee of Nintendo or Sora Limited, I feel like we've max got 3 maybe 4 games out of Sakurai. I would say like around 3 most likely. 3 or 4 at the most. And so I feel like maybe he really wants to think about his options, right? And I think one of those, new Smash, one of those would maybe going back to Kirby. One of those would be Kid Icarus. But I do think a new IP would be cool. Like, it would be cool if he left. Obviously, he has an incredible legacy with Smash. But it would be cool if, like, he made something new, right? Just to be like, hey, I've been thinking about this idea for years and years and years. And I just want to put that out there. I just think that would be, like, a really cool thing out of Nintendo. Out of Sakurai. A new IP. I don't know what he could do. Like, I feel like he's good with gameplay. Like, he's a very, very big gameplay-oriented person. I mean, obviously, he works on Smash, he worked on Kirby, which is fully gameplay oriented, and then you look at Kid Icarus, which, yeah, it has an awesome story, but it excels in gameplay too. So he always wants gameplay. He loves content. Like, he loves just packing games with a bunch of content, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I don't know, like, he could work on some kind of new action IP for Nintendo or something. That could be really cool. But he could also work on a Nintendo IP. There's so many Nintendo IP. I feel like Sakurai could bring so much to the table for. I mean, let's think about this, right? What does Sakurai love to death? Fire Emblem, right? This dude talks about Fire Emblem all the time. He's added a bunch of Fire Emblem characters, all that stuff. Like, he clearly has a passion for the series, and seeing some sort of like action Fire Emblem game that maybe he works on would be cool. I'm trying to look at like Nintendo franchises that would make sense for him to work on. F-Zero, and F-Zero by Sakurai could be really sick. Golden Sun from Sakurai could be hella cool. I don't think he would work on any Mario games. Like, he does love the Mario games from what, like, we know, but like, there's no Mario game I would really see him working on here. I'm looking at a list, like, I don't know about that. Maybe Metroid, could work on something Metroid related. Punch Out, he could definitely work on something Punch Out. Star Fox, he clearly has some love for the Star Fox franchise. A Zelda game by Sakurai would be really cool. You know, I feel like that's the thing about Sakurai, is that he has so much like potential for stuff he could do and so much skill that I think he could pretty much nail anything he's working on, as long as, you know, he's given, you know, a good direction to go with and he has a clear idea, because he's someone that, like, we all know, right, he loves to put his heart and soul into the thing he makes, and I think that'll shine through in the product. But yeah, man, it really is hard to tell what he's gonna do next. I think we'll get one more game out of him for Switch, at least. I think the Switch will have one more Sakurai game, and I feel like we're gonna see it next year, you know. So that's like one of my bold things, because here's the thing, Sakurai's probably chilling out now, but I know Sakurai, right? He's not chilling out. He is never chilling out, you know, for better or worse. You know, obviously I'd love him to rest and hang out, but I know him, right? We all know that this man loves to make games and loves to work on stuff, and I know he's in the lab cooking right now, bro. And I really feel like, I think by the end of next year, I think we will hear about Sakurai's next Nintendo Switch product, on whatever it's going to be, you know, end of next year, early year after. I feel like that's going to be time to see it, because think about it, by that point next year will be 2023. Smash Bros DLC will have been, you know, 2 years old, and Smash itself will have been, what's it called, 4-5 years old. So he's definitely been able to work something. I mean, we have no idea if, like, he was able to work on something while he was doing Smash DLC. He probably was able to work on a little thing, you know, just at least R&D, you know, pitch ideas and all of that stuff. But again, hard to tell, but I just thought it would be a fun conversation to have. So guys, let me know what you guys think Sakurai might be working on next. What do you want him to do next? What do you think the direction is of this man, you know, this clever director with his team and everything? So let me know. Fun conversation. We'll talk about it in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. I love you as always. Stay hype. Woo!